Hey, it's the director of fun, and yes, I've been out having fun, but I had to take a break. Why, you ask? Well, if you didn't ask, you should ask. I wanted to cover some great information about leadership traits. Why leadership traits? Well, if you're a good leader and you exuberate the skills that are needed, you can help those rub off on other people. And those are the things that are going to create you some time freedom, some financial freedom. We're going to chat about those here in just a minute. In the meantime, enjoy the view. Hey, you ready for this? Boy, look at that view behind me. Gotta love it out there, right? Anyway, I wanted to take a few minutes break from having fun and talk to you a little bit about some leadership traits, things that leadership needs, and things that you ought to be looking, as well as myself, to improve on and develop all the time. And kind of get things started, I'm gonna use a little bit of notes here just to make sure I don't pass anything up. And part of this is going to come from the leadership training I got through the Scouts and through the military. Now, that doesn't take away from anything that we do in civilian life or helping our teams grow. In fact, I have found as I'm rebuilding and getting things going that a lot of it's starting to come into play pretty good, and I wanted to share some of that with you. And a lot of people look at me and they'll say, well, Don, you've been known as the director of fun. What are you talking about leadership for? Well, guys, see, if you don't have good leadership skills and you can't go out and develop a great team and get things going, whether you're in direct sales or network marketing or affiliate marketing, it's kind of the fastest way to cash, or one of those avenues, how are you going to go out and have fun? You got to have things set up and running so that you've got money coming in, right? And so that you can develop time freedom and financial freedom. So let me share with you some traits. I'm not going to take up a lot of time. There's actually 10 major traits, but today on this particular video, I'm only going to cover 4 of them. Don't want to get into too much depth, and I'll put out another one in about a week to give you some more of the rest of them. But these are pretty important, especially these first 4. They're what set everything up in motion for people to look up to you and for people to want to follow you. And that's the paramount importance. I'll give you a little bit of a highlight. I kind of shared this in a live that I did on Facebook, but kind of to recap, when I was a kid, I got to go to a leadership conference for the Scouts called Buckskin. I got chosen with 3 other guys from my pack, or my troop, and we went to this conference. Now, they put you in with all new guys, so you don't know anybody in your patrol. That's what you call our group in the Scouts. And at this leadership conference, we had a notebook. We had to take notes and keep logs. We had procedures for how we had to do everything. I mean, meals had to be cooked and followed by the recipe. How we ate at the table was observed, and did we follow the protocols? Inviting people over from the leadership of the camp for our meals. Activities that we were doing during the day, training classes, leadership classes. All this stuff was watched, and sometimes it was being watched by people we didn't even know were watching. And we got graded on it, and we made some things happen. And I learned a lot in this camp, especially being a 14-year-old kid. I was having a blast, but I learned a lot. At the end of the camp, the camp master told this story, which turned out to be symbolic of our patrol. And the story goes something to the effect of, he was talking about 2 kids being in college, and he said, they were good students. They were A students. They studied. They did all the work that was needed. They put in the time, the effort. But one kid always seemed to be doing just a little bit better than the other. And the one that wasn't quite keeping up could never figure out what was going on. And finally one night, for whatever reason, the kid that was just a little bit behind, they were roommates, he had to get up and I don't know, use the restroom, wasn't feeling good, whatever it might have been. On his way back to bed, he noticed something odd. The roommate of his that was doing great, a little bit better than him, there was a light coming from under his blanket. He found out he'd been studying at night on top of everything else he was doing that people seen. Now, our patrol, the reason we won that week was you got extra points on your scales for doing certain things. Well, one of them was digging these trenches for some stuff that they were trying to build into the camp for the next year. And our platoon, our patrol, we would get out there in the middle of the night and we would quietly dig in hour shifts between each of us, so we still got some sleep, but we would get 10 or 15 feet dug every night. Nobody knew about it. Well, we thought nobody knew about it, but the leaders knew about it. And there apparently were some folks that knew about it from other patrols, but they didn't have their group willing to go out and do the same thing. So you need to learn to be able to go above and beyond, and you need to develop the skills within you. I'm working on them too. It's a continuous process, and some of the best leaders will tell you that it's a continuous process. So let's get started. So, let me get to the right page on here. Sorry about that. So one of the first things that you've got to have as in fact, the most important, as far as I'm concerned, is called honesty and integrity. Now, I'm going to give you a quote. This is from the 34th President of the United States, Dwight D. Eisenhower, and he once said, "The supreme quality of leadership is unquestionably integrity. Without it, no real success is possible, no matter whether it's on a section gang, a football field, in an army, or in an office. Honesty and integrity are the most important ingredients that make a leader." I mean, how do you expect somebody to follow you if you're not honest? Would you follow somebody that you don't trust? Would you follow somebody that you found out has been not honest with you, or lying, or a little bit deceitful, or leaving out information? You know, I was once with a company that got some things going, and I found out some things that they had some issues in their younger years with some finances. And I brought it up, and one of the top leaders just kind of laughed it off, saying, "No, that's not real, it didn't happen." And yet it was public record. Lost all credibility to me because it was public record, and I knew other people that had been a part of it, and they were still with the group. It was just a growing experience. But to wash it off and hide it and say it didn't happen took away my trust in him. So one of the things you've got to develop and have is honesty. Be straight up about what you're doing and how you're going to help people, what your program is. All the programs out there, a lot of them are pretty good. There's some shady ones, let's be real. But if you're in a good program, you should not need to hide certain aspects of it, or not be fully disclosed about it. Now, part of it may be a training and educational process, so you might not get to that in the very beginning, but you need to keep people informed. You need to keep them upscale, and be straight with them. You need to have that integrity so that people will want to follow you. Leaders succeed when they stick to their values and their core beliefs. And if you don't have ethics, you won't do that. So, you got to have the honesty. So let me give you a thing, and I kind of rely on my military. I spent a lot of time in the Army. One of those crazy guys, like jump out of planes and stuff. But when I was up in the 82nd Airborne Division, I was a young PFC. I never wore E4 stripes. That's a whole story in itself. So if you ever want to chat, let me know. But here I was a private first class. I'd been at the division for about 4 or 5 months maybe. And it was a division PT type thing going on. And the division general came down to our battalion to do PT with us. Now here's a guy that was 54 years old. 54, he was out there doing PT, and he made this 18-year-old punk look bad. He didn't tell people to do what he couldn't do. He set an example, and he expected others to be able to follow it to the best of their ability. Did he expect everybody to do the same as he did? Well, that year I didn't, but that never happened again. Because I figured at 18, if this old man could outdo me, something was wrong with me. But he had the integrity. He got out when he talked, and when he spoke, you knew you wanted to follow him. You knew you could trust him. He exuberated the kind of individual that you wanted to be able to follow. The second that you've got to have is confidence. So confidence is key. To be an effective leader, you need to show that you have confidence, and you've got to show it where people will want to follow you. Who wants to follow somebody who's not sure if they can go somewhere? I mean, go on hikes, and I've been on some pretty wild hikes. But if you're crossing a river someplace and you're not sure what you can do or you can get across it, who's going to want to follow that guy? You've got to be able to learn what you need and have confidence that you can help others achieve the same goals. And let's be real, you really need to ooze with confidence. Not, yeah, I think I can. Hey, come hook up with me. We'll see if we can't get this done. Like, you're missing out if you're not in line with me, man. Game plan is on. Game time is now. Let's get this done. You've just got to ooze it out. Number 3, I love this one. You've got to be able to inspire others. You've got to be able to give them a sense of, hey, I can do this too. I can get out there and do it. I can be successful. If you can't inspire somebody, there's no reason for them to follow you. I like a quote that was given by John Quincy Adams. He said, if your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, become more, then you're a leader. We lead by inspiring. Yeah, sometimes there are leaders who are bossy and finger pointing and all that, but do you really want to follow them? Are you inspired to do more for them, or do you just do what you have to do to get by? A good leader is going to take it upon themselves to create an environment, an atmosphere where you're like, okay, what do I do next? I got to do. What do you need? I'll bend over backwards to help and grow. Let's get this done. Number 4 is a commitment and a passion. Guys, if you're not committed to what you're doing, seriously, all in, who wants to follow you? I mean, if you're got a thought process that says, well, I think I can do something with this, well, that's okay for you to get started, but don't expect people to follow you if that's all you've got right now. Now, if you get going and you're just like, wow, I can do this, I've got this, and you start working on it, people are going to take notice and they're going to follow you. They're going to inquire you. And the cool part is, a lot of those people that are going to inquire about it or follow up, they're not even the ones that are making comments on your Facebook pages or others. I had 3 requests today come in for information about what I'm doing, because we help people with the challenge, the Academy of Success, and whatever they happen to be out doing, we just help them become 10 times greater at it or more. But none of these people are full-time people that I communicate with. But they've been watching, they've been paying attention. It's happening to you too. And so you've got to get out there and take advantage of that by just doing that. Having passion. Let people see it. Be excited. Don't be afraid to get your hands dirty, as the saying goes. When we were in the military, and you've seen this with other jobs, other environments, and just because I was a sergeant didn't mean I didn't get in there and scrub things that needed to be scrubbed, or jump in and help dig trenches or foxholes or whatever might need to be done, or run over and help somebody else adjust their gear for a military jump, or whatever it is. You get in and get your hands dirty, people notice that. They take sight of that. Those are the people that you and I trust, because they're in there doing it with us, not standing on the side pointing a finger. That do as I do is so much better than do as I say, don't you think? Well, when you do stuff like that, it gains respect. And when you get respect of people, people will follow you. They'll bend over backwards. They will do the little things that you suggest or say that need to be done that they won't do with somebody they don't respect. So those are my 4 thoughts for today. We're going to cover the others in a week or so. Hope you've seen some value in there. Hey, listen, if you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Make sure that you hit that little bell so you can get noticed when new ones are coming out. And down below, there's a comment section. I love to hear remarks and thoughts, so make sure you post it in there. Well, in my own leadership way, I got to get going. besides having a little fun, I got a little bit of things I got to get accomplished too. So I'm out of here. The director of fun says, hey, get out and have fun, but set your systems in a position where you can do it all the time. There, get that out of there. Set your stuff in position where you can go out and have fun all the time by systematizing and by putting it on an autopilot and getting the skills necessary to do so. If you need help, I can help you. Right down below, there's a couple of links. I'd suggest watching our Entrepreneur TV, give you some great ideas on how to work and grow whatever you're currently doing, as well as possibly some stuff we can help you with. And there's some other links on there as well. Hey, y'all have a good day. Look to hear from you soon. Director of Fun saying bye.